I wanted to make a fairly quick review of what I've found in terms of what can be done with adding a master bedroom suite back here and expanding the dining room. These numbers here reference various changes, so that's the number to refer to if you see something you like or do not like. This is the existing floor plan of the area that we're working in, and there's a question of whether this linen cabinet stays or goes. But so the first plan that I put together was before I even had another conversation with you and with Rick. It was this, and I want to just note we're going to talk about the bathroom first, then the bedroom, then the dining room. But just so that you know, this 12 foot was the precept that we were going to come out 12 feet, and it was a case of whether we were going to come all the way across here or break back at the dinette area. But so that you know, this hatched area, that's the exact same size as your existing master bedroom down here to the west. And just a few inches on each side larger. Your closets become bigger by about a foot plus. Each of the closets become bigger by about a foot plus. But we'll talk about this area after we talk about the bath. And as I said, in this first permutation, I either didn't remember or wasn't aware that we were talking about an insert and not any kind of a full tiled shower. So that much may need to be sorted. In any event, most of the plans can use either one or the other. This is an exception because I don't think you can get a pan for this, a shower pan for this, so this would be an all tile shower here. And we managed to get a 2-foot door into that and leave the linen closet in place. As I said, we're going to talk about the bathroom first, and these numbers will change with each little change. Some of them are very minor, but I wanted to make it fairly simple to reference things. So all I did here, as I said, this was the very first one I put together, and I just began with this, and we talked about having a pocket door instead of a swing door. And that was the only thing that happened there. And then if this is left in place, presumably no work is needed to be done out here in the hall at all. But if you wanted to have a little hallway back there, and this little wall and door can occur anywhere along here, you need to have some switches on the right when you come through, at least a switch, rather than getting out to here with a switch. So maybe that door comes back a little bit. This shifts the bathroom entrance away from the master bedroom down here to closer in front of the toilet, and I think again, this door can just go anywhere along that wall. This door can go anywhere in here, and this entrance to the bath can go anywhere in here. I did try to get it in the bedroom. It can't be a pocket door. There's just not enough length for the slot to go that way, and I don't think this works as well because of access to this closet, etc. So we just go back here because I don't think that's as viable plan as some of the others. We go back here, and you had asked me whether this was possible, and to me it looks like it is. I don't think two people can be in there at the same time working here together or using the bathroom together, sinks together, but it does work, creates some nice counter space. This also works. 5 foot is pretty narrow for a double vanity, definitely too narrow when both people are in there, but it is good, pretty decent clearance elbow room this way at 15 inches. Normally I see a lot of vanities at 66 inches, and that is generally my minimum for 2-sink vanity. But this can work, and they do have 5-footers out there, and I've actually seen side-by-side sinks in a 4'6" space. So that is workable. Again, this door can go anywhere, this door can go anywhere. Now we get to this shower though, and as I said, in this permutation it's shown as a full tiled shower. Now this is, if we get rid of the linen cabinet or closet in the hallway, then the shower becomes pretty big. Whether it stays that big or whether that's you want it that big is a second question. But getting rid of the linen cabinet or linen closet does do that. Now you can also, and now here's where we shift away from this whole tiled shower room almost and go to a shower unit. This is not one that I would prefer. This was just experimentation. 48 by 34 shower, and there's really only about 23 or 4 inches between this and this to get in front of this. But it does work and it meets code. Flipping it to that side, then you don't have to, flipping the toilet and the shower to that side in this arrangement, then you don't have to shorten this window. This window can be just left alone. Maybe you have to put some obscure glass or curtains or something. But yeah, that window does not need to be shortened because this comes over here. Now, probably that's 48 by 34 shower. If we just turn it this way, then we get into a 60-inch wide and lose that linen closet. And we get 60 by 36, and that can actually go up. There's 60 by 42. I brought the toilet back over here so that you can access the shower head. I don't think they're going to put it on this outside wall. You probably could, but maybe this shower has to come down to 54 to provide some sort of thickened plumbing wall on this one. This is that little chrome stand, metal and glass stand that we looked at out in the garage, this little blue box here. And just to give you a feel for how much space is in there, 60 by 42 shower, if you did take that down to 60 by 34, it looks like there would be room for that little stand in there at the end, and then access to the shower head here. Now this leaves that linen, there's a little wall here, but this leaves the linen, this wall of the linen in place, and this is just, there's a wall here, and this is just a false wall here. This gets you a 42 by 42 square shower. This little cabinet though, it won't fit in beside this toilet here unless that shower is brought down to 36 inches wide. And then it looks like everything, if you wanted to do that, the little stand can fit here. But this one does preserve that linen closet, so maybe that stand isn't even needed. Of the plans that have the toilet in front of this window, and these are the ones that require that window be shortened, which means there's siding work outside and that work of shortening that window. But of the plans with the toilet on this side, this is my preference in terms of entrance, because some of these show some other vanity arrangements up here. Mainly keeping this, the reason I put this door in here is when we get all the way back there and it's this long hallway, sometimes it's nice to, the house feels larger that way, but doing that, moving this entry point to any point along here is going to require floor repair here in any event, and plaster, etc. work here, and then painting this hall. So of these ones though, I like this the best. It shortens this pathway by creating an opening along the way. It's a little further from the bedroom than maybe one would like, but it's nice that it is centering up more or less on this window across the room, and that's going to bring some nice light directly into this hallway. So this is probably where the hall feels the shortest and is the least costly to arrange. And I think that's about it for the bathroom for right now. And now we review the master bedroom. And keep in mind, I'm not saying that all of these plans work. Some of them are just to demonstrate the challenges or difficulties in having them work. This was the first one I had put together, and we have to decide. The master bedroom is going to need at least one window that's egress, which is essentially a 3-foot by 5-foot window. Those, and I did not cover this, those windows can be smaller if a casement window, the kind that cranks out, like a door is used instead of double hungs, but I did not review that possibility. I just kept everything double hungs, and if we get into a difficulty, particularly with one of the plans that I show, the flanking, windows flanking the bed side by side, in that kind of a plan, if we were willing to go with a couple casement windows there, those windows can be a little narrow. I did not cover that though in the film. I just want to mention that not everything is presented as something that's truly viable. These pieces here are your furniture for my measurements that I took when I was up there: the big dresser, the taller dresser, the bed, and the 2 nightstands. And the go-in was that we wanted to be able to put some sort of a television or piece of furniture at the foot of the bed, or somewhere that a person could see a television from the bed. So that was one of the guidelines or precepts going through. These closets has a lot of space back here that's going to be kind of hard to access. These are both pocket doors, and they're 2'8", which is 32 inches a piece. I can't get 2 36-inch pocket doors in here. There's not the framing room to do it. We'd have to add almost a foot to the end of this to accomplish 2 36-inch pocket doors. Even these ones look like they have to come down and up. But in terms of the egress, I'm showing a double window in here. These are 3x5, so this is a lot of glass. This faces the east side, so there'll be morning sun. And we go back to trying to get into these closets while maintaining a space in front of them, get into them, and access clothing that's back here in the blind. There's no super easy answer from that arrangement. Now here we go to 2 3-foot doors, which gives you a full 3 foot of access in front of the thing, but the space in front would have to be kept clear for these to open, and you still got quite a bit of space back here. For what it's worth, you could fit a 3-foot door, 3-foot pocket door, and a 3-foot swing door. So the next solution is you rotate the bed maybe and get better access to those closets. This does not put a piece of furniture right directly dead center at the foot of the bed. And this is where I talked about these windows. This is an egress window 3 foot wide. Now I don't like this from the outside at all. If these are casement windows, we managed to get a little bit more of a margin here, but they are, your furniture is in front of them. In any event, just as I said, showing you the limitations. I did not either cover in this film that if we made this dining room perhaps 9 foot wide instead of 10 foot wide, that extra foot would probably help you pretty decently in this room, but I'm not sure about only 9 foot wide here. But this puts 2 4-foot double French doors in front of the closets, giving you full access to the full length of the closet all the time. And if you get away from those full swing doors and you go to bypass doors like this, the same access, and you can shift the bed over a little bit. This was the final, or the kind of a one more look where this closet becomes the smaller closet at 4'8", which I think is still bigger than the one that's down in this bedroom now, and one that's at 6'6" or so, with small doors that can clear this nightstand when they open, and larger doors that can clear everything when they open. Again, I'm not sure about that. These bypass doors, if these slide-by doors, bypass doors are installed, these are pretty effective solution. These are 5'3", so you would have access to each side of the closet, about 32 inches of access here, or 32 here, depending on how those doors are slid. But it does keep that floor space open to do whatever a person would like in front of it. The TV stand is offset from the bed. Again, I don't like these windows, but I don't think it's super critical. This is just the mirror of that. And then this puts the windows, a double window, and you could actually have just one single window, as you do now in the west, in your current master bedroom. One single window. You could have one single window behind the bed. I'm showing a double window, a twin window behind the bed. That window is going to come within 20 inches of the floor because it has to be so tall to meet the egress code. As I said though, you really only need one of these in the bedroom, and rather than this, I don't like this at all from the outside. It's just a bit much how close this is to the corner. You only need one of these windows, so really it can go over here on the south wall if you wanted to, with nothing on this north wall. So this is your egress. In this one, this is your egress window here, either here or here, somewhere on this wall, depending on how you want your furniture. And this is just a high awning or transom window above the bed, so that you have more than just one window in there. You have two in your existing room. This is fixed glass. I mean, it can be an awning. I noticed you like to open your windows, so this can be a little awning window. Well, it's 5 foot wide, up and over the bed. Now this becomes less, not so much bright light coming in. If a person has to sleep during the day, this is probably a better arrangement, or even that one's better still, with just a single window. But with that east, it's kind of nice having a little east light coming in. And I kind of like this. This is kind of a little private area here, because pretty much, I mean, up here is a little more private because of all the big trees that you've got back here. Here, that transom and bed and arrangement is centered on this entrance path through here. And here it is centered, this window and the bed, etc., is centered on the outside of the building. This slight off center, I don't think someone's going to pick that up from outside, and not where it matters. And now, I'm not sure what else I can say about the master bedroom at this point. A good little review for you though. Coming to the dining area, there are groups of windows on the house out front, doubles and triples. So I'm using this triple window here, and I think I haven't completely reviewed that because of the window heights. To have these all be the same windows, it looks like we can reuse two and then match, say reuse the two here, reuse that existing one from here, and then buy these three for this end of the room. The room is dead square at 10 foot by 10 foot in this arrangement, but I've opted to leave a little bit of wall space here in this dining area, unlabeled but dining area. And that 10 foot by 10 foot, this is a 45-inch round table with the chairs around it, 5 chairs around it, and the required or recommended getting past a person while they're seated clearance. Notice in this first one, this door is kind of, I figured that this would be modeled like this with the curve, or with the flat top arches, but this opening, this is made with your existing framed opening for those twin windows. I assume that's a single opening, 5 foot wide, and this is without getting beyond, going left or right, making that any wider or relocating it. In the next one, I show an option of just widening that doorway all the way out to the margins. And I'll probably just have a straight header across here. I mean, it could actually be arched here and here as well, like this one is. And then it was do you just have this building go flat all the way across the back like this and pick up that extra 2 feet in the dining room? My feeling at this point is probably that you do, just because it's probably as expensive to build one because of this turn. It's probably as expensive to build this as it is to add the additional 20 square feet and picking that space up in this dining. Then you could put a rectangular or oval table in here, still 42 inches wide or so, but then it can be a little longer. I don't know what happens with this space in here, what use this is given over to. It's not labeled because I don't know that. I assume that perhaps sometime in the future a person renovates this kitchen and kitchen gets expanded over here a little bit. This wall may be taken down, but that's just something to think about. That's that door. If we just make the opening where your existing windows are, you have 1 foot 2 or so on each side. and whether maybe that same 5-foot opening is actually reconstructed and shifted left. This shows it with a margin here, probably the flat top curved door. This still isn't setting up centered on this window or anything, but I've just moved it over arbitrarily just so that you could make a call on it in terms of having true kitchen cabinet depth here if something happens that way, or in any event a little deeper furniture depth, and reverting to the existing opening. Alright, something occurred to me and I came back to double check. I'm not sure if this heel height is going to be enough for the required insulation. I'll have to double check that. I think they give you an allowance for so much of it, but I'll have to double check that. But when I got back here, it did occur to me to maybe show a few other things. And this, you could have that framed conventionally with, these are 9.5-inch eye joists to create this vaulted ceiling look in either or both rooms. But it is probably more labor intensive than trusses. You would need to put a support down here in the center of that crawl space. You'd have to have a little 8-inch pier. And this is an alternative version where this is left open over here and you have a shelf in this dining room for various things. That raised ceiling though does, if a person was inclined, they can horse around with various different windows over those master bedroom windows. This, I really came over here to see what that bed was going to look like in front of the window, if that's the version you end up with. And obviously the one with the shelf can only be done if it's one of the plans with the closets on the left side of the bedroom. But I'm glad I did model the bed now. You could see it actually doesn't, it lines up pretty nicely. That's the actual dimensions of your bed and the actual dimensions of the window. So it's really not as bad as I thought it might be. But yes, various things like that could be added if a person was inclined. This matches your inside arches, the full height. Alternative to the stick frame high pitch, this is 512 pitch here, and this is probably 12 feet up here. You could use trusses. I mean, they're going to use trusses, or that was the plan, but if you wanted to use scissor trusses, you could create this same sort of thing. A few of those additional window variations would work over here, again if a person was inclined and the budget allowed for that. I think that is all I wanted to cover on that. So that is the floor planning, and then from the outside, I didn't do a whole bunch of these, but this is just some of these various looks from outside. This was the one with the windows, a twin window behind your bed with your bed here. Actually, this is the one with this is the first plan we looked at, with the twin window kind of shifted off to the left a little bit. I don't know if you could see this in your view here, but this foundation will be made of block, not concrete, but I presume that's parge coated to look more like the rest of this foundation, which is painted white here and here, but the rest of it is parge coat concrete. And here's what I meant to tell you about these with that windows that are offset in that bedroom, what the effect is out here. It's not something I care for, and I did not cover it, but in the event this wall is pushed out, and you'll see a photo here in a minute, in the event this wall is pushed out and this is all made one facade, then all of those plans that show the flanking windows work better, or look better in my estimation, because I thought a couple of those plans were otherwise viable. I did want to double check, and I have, and this is what I meant when I said it looks a lot better. I really would hate to draw this and submit it, period. This is doable. with either one or two windows. I kind of like the simplicity of this, and the floor plan then shapes up either like that with the two, or, and this is one of the best ones yet, I think. This is a 5-foot door, this is a 4-foot door. Both of the furniture is down here, shifting the bed over there, going with one window here and one window here, and this could probably be a window that we salvage from one of these other ones that has to come out, either this one if that has to be shortened, or another one I believe that there is to spare. That's really not something you should do, and that's more than doable. And returning now to the regular film. This was the little transom over the bed, and that can be a little larger, a little wider, a little taller if you wanted. A person even goes in this direction. And this was bringing that whole facade out. Now there's the double window down. You can see your bed through it. There's the double window coming down behind the bed. And that's all for now, and I know there's not a whole lot, but hopefully it's enough of a review for you to make some judgments, come back to me with any kind of additional thing that you might want to see. Thanks.